Alright, me church will be answer mo be akwaba. Be in Fambra or Dino TV. I had the updates, trending news on Kwane, this your viewers. No message say, and any day they can uti and answer or share. Best subscribe to our channel. Or be like, or be share more, bussy and fun. Or be on one sanka video. So, start a video next to one who the air trend war. Or mind Ghana had the updates in Kwane. This one. Name be a both free or air or mind Ghana more as a bussy for any assem to acquire. Men person message break on Mamiakum. The kwakuti and send munche muye pa me ho adwumi sanso na also wuti ya also ho bedwuru ye pa na me se me kɔ ne be kwakuti muye pa na me so se obe subscribe yakoba e be kwakotoa e be betoa enkomo no se kutie na ye audio ni ba e ba betoa enkomo no so sisi a me de obi bia ase kwa ba sisi a.
I have had a very interesting week, and I was forced to even put it on my Facebook. People were meeting about attacking me. And there were efforts afoot. You know, you hear a lot of these things, and I'm not saying this is NDC, but there are all kinds of surrogates and people who feel, upset about anything. And I don't have a problem with, debating and, intellectual discourse and debates, no matter how vigorous.
Right.
Okay. I block a lot of people on my Facebook, but I do that only when you insult. But if you want to debate me, no matter how harshly, fine. But people are planning to attack. Somebody says if NDC comes to power, they will collapse my business. You hear wild things. There are serious personal prices to pay for some of these things. But I agree with you. You don't have to be partial.
And that's most
It's
unfortunate.
a problem with our system, but
that's most unfortunate in this country.
Yeah.
That businesses will rise depending on which political party they affiliate with.
Exactly.
This is what we are doing to destroy this country.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. And
okay.
So
let's
anyway,
get in.
We need to get onto it. But
let's get
to it.
What is it about Dr. Bawumia?
So it is not so much specifically about Dr. Bawumia. So let me start from the beginning. See, across my maybe public life, from when I was a student leader, I somehow ran away from the limelight. I really, but let's leave it. And it finds me all the time. It's my friends who want to write me in for that office. And I won by a landslide. That's an aside. But I'm saying I ran away, it finds me. And even from then, there have been times when it has fallen to some people, including myself, to do the unpopular but necessary thing. Let me give you an example. In 1991, when we were thinking of passing the 1992 Constitution, there were the transitional provisions. It was a major problem. And as a student leader, you are dragged into it. People are like, no way, we should not accept it. We're forced into the discussion of whether we want constitutional rule, we want a democracy or not, or we are going to give it all up because of the transitional provisions. These arguments behind closed doors and wherever, we had to get into it, very unpopular. In those days, transitional provisions, they were terrible. Why are we going to? Let me leave it alone. But after careful thinking, we had to push the agenda that, look, let us vote for this constitution, even with the transitional provisions, because what we are looking for is political stability. If it takes us securing one man to get political stability, let us do so. Let's get on. After a while, we will know what to do with it. Today, the ironies is no more. This constitution has been the longest lasting, the most durable. It was very unpopular then. People have even forgotten it. So here's the thing. It fell to me, I believe, to make these points because I got to a point where I realized that this country was angrily walking into what is perhaps a mistake. And these are my views. This is not Imani's views. When I sleep, I think about it. I look at what I look at. I read what I read.
Walking into a mistake that will be voting John Mahama back.
Yes. And I have a lot of personal respect for President John Mahama. He's one of the men who has served this country almost all his adult life. From local politician to deputy minister to vice president to president, and I believe an elderly and respectable statesman. In fact, in this write-up, I said, we are blessed as a country that we don't have to fight to determine who will lead us. But we have two fine gentlemen, President John Mahama and Vice President Bawumia, who we have to pick from. The other side of that is that we have been dealt that hand. We didn't have a choice in it. It was NDC and MPP. Of all the people in NDC, they picked John Mahama. It is their prerogative. And then MPP picks Bawumia. It is their prerogative. We, the people of Ghana, have been dealt this hand. You can like it or not. I think one of the two will be president. So we have to contend with the fact of who will it be. Sitting and reflecting on these choices. And Samson, somebody called me, and I've received a lot of calls, somebody very senior called me and said, why are you doing this? I said, you know what? What is your problem with me doing this?
You're a bigger influencer.
Well, that's one of the problems. We'll come to that. But then I said, okay. He says he's angry that this has gone on, and I was so why? I said, okay, I know you are angry. I must be angrier than you. I was on the streets demonstrating. I must be angrier than you. Mm-hmm. I spoke. I was effective in mobilizing for this government to come into power. I must be angrier than you. I have been more critical of this government than you. Myself and my brothers in Imani, Prof. Bob King, Theo, no one in this country has been more critical, whether a Japa or E-Levy, than anyone. We've taken personal risks. I must be angrier than you, and I'm angry.
So we give you that.
So see,
is that not the contradiction?
But that's the point. There are no brain cells in your heart. Your emotions can't think well. The thinking has to happen in your head. So regardless of my anger, and you've seen it in all my advocacy and what we've done, I had to reflect and say, I am angry, and that is pushing me to vote President John Mahama back into government. Then I look at the options, and I'm like, every measure you come up with against Vice President Bawumia, President Mahama also fails on it. He has been a president, he has been a vice president, and the track record is there. Whether it's corruption, whether it's transformational leadership, whatever it is. And when I looked at all of that, I came to the conclusion that we are better off picking Vice President Bawumia and giving him a chance. At the least, we should give him a fair hearing. Let us hear the man and listen to what he has for this country. Now, all of that together forced me to have to make that endorsement. Not to his person, but in the calculation that it is better for this country, even if you are going to make a mistake going forward. Because we have tried this other quantity, and we have had this.
We have tried John Mahama as president, yes, but not tried
yes,
Bawumia as president.
Yes.
That is a key argument you make.
That's a key argument, and I'm saying that
you sit on boards and you sit on interview panels. Mm-hmm. You pick people for experience on a job.
Yes.
If President Mahama has been president, mm-hmm, he ought to do better, mm-hmm, if he's given the opportunity than someone who is seeking that opportunity.
You don't pick people for the wrong experience, or you don't pick people whose experience showed that they could not do the job. In fact, that is the perfect rule you use to exclude them. We gave you the chance and you failed, so out. You pick people who have shown you a certain tendency to do well, and then you analyze them, which is what I did. I said, well, this vice president has been vice president and he has not been corrupt. That's a fact. Do you have any evidence of that? It is not for lack of opportunity. Sipton switch alone was over $1 billion. And I won't go to do, by the way, I don't coordinate with the Bawumia campaign. They don't tell me what to do. I speak my mind, and it's not everything I say which they even like. So it's not everything I say here which may be perfectly accurate.
On the corruption scorecard, mm-hmm, what is it you can say about Bawumia that you cannot say about President Mahama?
So President Mahama was vice president. Mm-hmm. He was president. Mm-hmm. At least you know of the Ford scandal.
Right.
I use that because that is an objective mark. There was an investigation. There was a conclusion. All the stories and everything being told. There were situations where
that he took a gift.
Yes.
Of a car.
You're saying...
Is that it?
Let me answer the question. Mm-hmm. We are comparing two people. Mm. One, there is a fact that findings of corruption